Greetings, programs. This is Wretch. Welcome back to Supposedly Wonderful Future. And we are in a simulation right now, guys. About to talk to, I guess, God. Or some reasonable facsimile. I guess we're going to find out. So he did the supernatural. Hey, man. Thanks so much for coming and having this chat with me. You're welcome, I guess? Cool. So, shall we get right to it? There's stuff I am dying to show you. Show me? I thought this was a text-only interaction. Oh, I'm going to draw a picture. In your mind. I mean, I'm really good at metaphors. I'm not going to actually mess with your brain or anything. Right. Go on then. Oh, wait. I forgot to ask an important thing. Do you mind if I, challenge your worldview a bit today? You don't even know my worldview. How do you know it'll be challenged? Well, it's just that you people have many awesome beliefs about the universe, your place in it, and other big mysterious stuff, and I might contradict it a little. Does it have something to do with you being God? Yes. Oh, wait, no, is that how she presented me again? It's such a... never mind. There are a lot of definitions of God, and I'm not sure I qualify for any of them. Creator is a much more close to reality. Even that strange dude who claims weird things is totally fine. Well, just relax. I'm open-minded enough to handle it. Hearing doesn't mean agreeing, right? Cool. Just consider it a thought experiment, okay? Whether it's true or false is actually not too important. If you say so. So, imagine like stairs that go through an entire building, from the first floor to the last. Or an elevator. I don't even need to imagine an elevator. I rode one 10 minutes ago. That's great! A perfect metaphor then. Now, instead of apartments or offices, they're universes. What kind of universes? The kinds you live in. You know, with galaxies, nebulas, stars, planets, and stuff. Your entire universe is on the first floor. My entire universe is on the second floor. How come you get to live one floor higher? I'll get to this in a moment. Imagine that the closer a floor is to the ground, the more apartments it has. Like, if you start at the very top, there's only one apartment. And take the elevator one floor down, you'll see 3 doors, each leading to its own apartment. And on the floor below, you'll find 5 doors, and on the floor below that, 7 doors, and so on. Go on. Now, the building wasn't always so big. Once upon a time, it had only one floor, the topmost one, with a single apartment. One day, its residents figured out how to build another floor beneath them. And not just a floor, they learned how to make multiple apartments and create new residents for each one. So they did all that. Go on. Right. So later on, the new residents learned to build too. So they did the same thing. Except that because there were many of them, each apartment worked on a separate section of the 3rd floor. So it ended up even bigger. You probably see where this is going, right? Exponential growth? Exactly. It kept growing, man. More floors, more apartments, each group of residents contributing to the building. Remember how I said that I'm on the 2nd floor and you're on the 1st floor? Well, that's how the building looks right now. If you count the floors from below, that is. Also, if you don't use different numbering. I think some of you folks refer to the lowest one as the ground floor and only then start counting. If you do that, then I'm actually on the 1st floor. Okay, I get it. So overall, it's more like a tree, with roots and leaves and branches, only the root is on top. Well, if you turn the building upside down, that would be a proper tree. Go on. Now, here's an important detail. You think that any resident could take an elevator to any floor, right? But no, it's not that simple. In fact, most folks can't even leave their own apartments, just because of how huge they are. Also because physics. And even if they could, riding the elevator is just too hard. So sadly, they're left with no means to communicate. Go on. But there is an exception. Because folks get to build apartments below, they can create communication channels while doing so, like small holes to put notes through. It's pretty complicated, but some manage to do it. Go on. I don't want to argue with the guy, because I get the concept that he's explaining here. So while building your apartment, did I mention that I built your apartment? Because I totally did. I used the same trick. Left a small hole I could use to talk with you guys when the time is right. That's why we're having this conversation. And that's it. The meta-reality as we know it. The hierarchy of worlds. Your universe is enormous and totally awesome, but even that is just one apartment in a big building, which I kind of created. I mean the apartment, not the entire building, of course. Do you seriously expect me to believe that? No, dude, of course not. If you don't want to believe, please don't. By all means, question me. Laugh at how ridiculous the whole thing sounds. That would be only logical. I just want to share, because I'm honestly so excited about this stuff. I look at your universe, and I just can't get enough. It takes some perspective to appreciate the things around you, and I thought I could help a bit. I need to hear more before I can say something. That's the right attitude, man. Come on, hit me. With questions, I mean, not your fist, and not with your leg either. Not physically. You wouldn't be able to anyway, with us living in different universes and stuff. But even if you could, I hope I didn't annoy so much. I probably did annoy you a bit, but hopefully not as much to resort to violence. How did you create our universe? I mainly just provided the starting point, to find the rules and let it develop, you know? Hit the switch and it went by itself from there. Big Bang, evolution, stuff you already figured out. Can you control things? Change something? Answer people's prayers? No, I just watch. Right now I have no more power over your universe than you do. Well, even less actually, because you already affect the world by simply living in it. So you're not much of a god. That's what I'm trying to tell you. There's really no point bringing this word to the table. It has so many underlying meanings, I don't even dare to compete. So you didn't actually create people? No, but I defined some general traits evolution should arrive at. Emotions, interaction, ways of organizing society, the important stuff. The stuff that allows you and me to talk and understand each other right now. So, no predetermination, no destiny? Not to my knowing, no. You can do whatever the hell you want. It's pretty exciting, right? That must mean you know how our entire universe works. No, sorry. I don't understand it that well myself. I get the broad strokes, but I can't really chat with your physicist about the theory of everything and such. But you say you define the rules. How could you define the rules if you don't understand them? Well, how can you people post articles online if most of you don't understand network protocols? How can you use computers without setting each 1 and 0 individually? Nobody knows the entire thing. You don't need to. You build atop the work of others. Alright. Well, I have another question. Awesome. Why did you create our universe? I wanted to. That's it? You just felt like it? I guess so. Why? Do you need a better reason to create something? When it's something of this scale, I'd say so. I actually don't think scale matters much. The process of creating, it's just on a whole different level, man. I really believe it's shared by all living beings in every universe. It may even be what makes us living beings in the first place. It's not a power, it's not a privilege. It's a need. It's a drive to create stuff bigger than yourself, to make something where nothing was before. It doesn't need a specific reason, you just do it, because you are unable not to. I guess I can relate to that. And the best part? You usually succeed. Yes, the stuff we make is imperfect and it may not be the best metaphor around, but in a way, It's larger than us. It kind of keeps growing and growing, so much that it outgrows the source. I think creation will always be bigger than its creator. That's certainly true in my case. You don't sound anything like a creator of a whole universe, though. Really? How do you think a creator should sound, then? I don't know. Awe-inspiring? Sophisticated? Incomprehensible? No, I suck at those things. I could try to be more incomprehensible if you want, but that's about it. No, I'd rather not witness that. Sure, no problem. Seriously though, it's like you took a typical image of a supreme being and decided to be the opposite of that. If you want people to believe your story, isn't it better to be more conventional? You may be right, but where's the fun in that? If I can defy expectations, that's all the more reason to have these chats. So you don't really want to carry the message across? No, I do. It's just that I want to carry a lot of them. I mean, you folks always pair up sophistication and creation. You think that the cooler the stuff you can make, the cooler you must be yourself, but that's not always the case, right? How so? Well, I'm simply saying that there's no reason why divine-like power and acts of creation should be so intertwined. A small kid building a castle from toy bricks knows nothing about the laws of the universe, but he creates. At the same time, an omnipotent godlike being may be able to make worlds like nobody's business, yet never see any reason to do so. Maybe it's just content to float alone in the void, wondering what all the fuss is about. But a kid cannot create real universes. Can he not? He has imagination. His heart's in the right place. He just doesn't have the tools. But what if you give him the tools? What if instead of toy bricks he had magical world-building bricks? He still wouldn't be able to create anything complex. He doesn't understand complex things yet. He doesn't have to understand everything. You think I had to understand every single thing about your universe? Every astronomical detail of every star system? Every emotional state of every living being? No, and I still don't. I just built a system and let it take us places. Okay. I see your point. It's true, man. Humanity's beliefs are fascinating, but honestly, you give people the creator figure too much credit. I'm just a dude. Well then, who are you exactly? Are there more like you? Like I said, I'm nothing unusual. There are millions like me living around. My species and your humanity have a lot in common. An entire species of super powerful beings? Not super powerful, man. Ordinary. How can you be ordinary if you're capable of creating actual universes? Because we are super powerful together, not by ourselves. When you say that humanity as a whole is much more powerful than any of its individuals? Yeah, you mentioned something like that. Build atop the work of others, right? Exactly. You never really start from scratch. It's a collaboration. Everything is a collaboration. Still, you must be on a whole different level than us. Well, actually, that's true, they are. Perhaps, but that doesn't mean we're superior. We just had more time to improve and evolve. Give it another 1,000 years. You'll be amazed how little you could do today. So, to you, creating a universe is like writing a novel or filming a movie? Yes, exactly. You engage in such things too, right? You even refer to it as creating new worlds. The only difference is that the worlds we create are literally alive, but it's a temporary difference. And even what constitutes as literally alive is not a rhetorical question, but that's a whole other topic. And you live in your own universe. What's it like? Very similar to yours, really. I used my own world as inspiration. Stars and planets as far as the eye can see. Through a telescope, I mean. Can't see a lot of planets with the naked eye. Stars, yes, but not planets. And somewhere among them, a special planet where we came to be. The planet we call home. But what about your fellow dudes? Do they create worlds at their leisure as well? They do. Many, many wonderful worlds. My first thought was to make him sound kind of like Bill and Ted, like, they do, many, many wonderful worlds, but I didn't want that to be too stereotypical. Are they also similar to ours? No, not necessarily. You can create anything you want. The only limit's your imagination. Some experiment wildly just to see what kind of crazy stuff will come into existence. Others like to have control, to fine-tune and micromanage things. One of my friends is like that. Her works are logical and ordered, but cold. I mean, cold as in impassionate and unfriendly, not as in chilly. She makes a lot of warm environments as well, like volcanoes and stuff. Go on. Me? I just wanted to keep things realistic. Create a universe just like mine, but better. I dreamed of it, really. And hell, I know I'm biased, but I believe I succeeded. Now that you've come such a long way and I can talk to you, well, you know, it's actually pretty emotional. I might even tear up a bit. Now, if you need to, you can always cry on my shoulder, metaphorically. Nah, just kidding. I'm not gonna cry. Being goofy suits me much better. Are you mortal? Can you die? Yes. Then how can we already be nearly immortal? You're not nearly immortal. You just learn not how to die from aging. That's a different thing. It's pretty huge, nevertheless. Oh, it's massive, and a great achievement for humanity, but honestly, I don't think it'll change life as you know it. It didn't for us, at least. Yeah, life expectancy will rise dramatically, but then again, it's been increasing throughout the human history. Death can still be around the corner, and it'll continue to influence your actions, which is a good thing in my personal opinion. More questions. Why did you contact us? Like I said, I wanted to share. I reckon it's even my responsibility, given how we had chats with our creators in a very similar fashion, and they had chats with their creators. You know, passing the knowledge on. Does it have to be so limited? Could you come visit? Oh, I like the background. As much as I'd like to, no. For some reason, there are more limitations imposed on interacting with other worlds than on creating worlds themselves. It's pretty frustrating. I want to give you guys a big hug. I want to throw a party, yet all I have is this stupid instant messenger, and it's not really that instant. I mean, it's instant insofar as having real-time conversations. It's not when you consider the flow of time between the universes, though. Does it even make sense to talk about the flow of time between the universes? Oh, crap. Here I go again. Let's stay on topic here. Why did you contact humanity through Life Plus servers? Oh, that's easy. I just chose a spot that would attract attention. My tale is pretty wild, as you can see, so I tried to reinforce it with some hard-to-ignore facts. You know, like hacking into the most secure data storage on the planet. Jackie told me you're quite picky about choosing who to talk with. I didn't want to come across as picky, I just did a little research and handpicked a few fellows to make every conversation count. I hope it doesn't look like I'm beneath chatting with common folks, because that's totally not the case. I don't even believe there are common and uncommon folks, just everyone's special. Can you explain the science behind your means of communication? Jackie and company can't figure it out and feel pretty frustrated about it. Well, that's because it's not science. It's mysterious magic of the link between the worlds. The great portal that binds all existence together. Through ancient rituals, it grants me strength, so I can see beyond the veil and converse with my children. Fascinating. Please, do continue. Seriously though, it's like magic to me. It's some kind of natural phenomenon common to all the worlds, and I only know which buttons to press. Metaphorically, I mean. There aren't any real buttons involved. Well, why now? Is there anything special about this particular point in human history? Hard to say, really. I could probably name you a whole list of special stuff, but then again, I could do that for any point in history, human or otherwise. I think a better answer is, I just got tired of waiting. Had to share, man. Is it obligatory to share the knowledge? No, of course not. Some even think it's harmful. They argue that every universe should be completely self-contained and self-reliant, but I personally don't see any harm. I mean, as cool as it is, it won't turn your world upside down, right? Daily life will continue, you'll just know a bit more than before. Keep those questions coming, man. Man, this is actually a really cool concept. I like this. Tell me more about this hierarchy. Anything you want, my friend. Does it mean we'll be able to create universes ourselves one day? Sure thing. The meta-reality will continue to expand. You'll create countless worlds. Then your creations will do the same thing, and then the creations of your creations, and so on. That's really hard to imagine. That's an integral part of any massive breakthrough. Was it easy to imagine the world of books before the printing press? The world of information before the internet? No, but they came anyway, and it was totally awesome. Who created the first universe? How did it all start? That's an interesting question for sure, isn't it? Sadly, I have no idea, and I don't think most of the upper floors know either. I have my theories though, but I probably shouldn't bother you with them. They're not based on anything substantial. Oh, try me. Well, one option would be to just say that somebody was here first. End of story. Like they didn't have a beginning, so they didn't need a creator. They simply are. Or at least were. But that's pretty boring. What I like much more is circles. Circles don't have a beginning either, right? And if you form a loop, you don't need any external source anymore. So I think whoever inhabits the very first universe, they might have created themselves. Like a causal loop thing? Yeah, that thing where you challenge the very notion of cause and effect. But like I said, I'm just guessing here. You might as well consult humanity's own science fiction on this point. Man, that stuff you people write is fascinating. What's so exciting about it anyway? You don't think your universe is exciting? Maybe, but what's so great about having more of the same? It's not the same. There's always variety, unique and unexpected details that can surprise you. Besides, don't you get inspired by the sheer scope of things? I think it's a common trait of living beings to look up and say, wow, imagine how much stuff there is. Countless stars and planets, each one is unique in its own way. You haven't seen everything yet. There's more. Things to observe, to consider, to experience. It's the stories like this that get your imagination going. Well, sometimes it just reminds me how tiny I am. Size shouldn't be measured by neighbors. Does that scientist who won a Nobel Prize or that businessman who earned billions make you any smaller? Just ditch the comparisons, man. Then you'll have all the freedom to be huge in the world. Now, this is the thing I wanted to hit. You do realize how easily you disregard humanity's religions and beliefs. You think so? I think it's pretty obvious. No matter how open-minded your conversation partners are, it's still a very delicate and personal area. And delicate is not exactly how I would describe you. I don't know, man. I mean, I definitely see how someone could think this way, hence my initial warning, but I don't think it's possible for me to make people's beliefs less valuable, even if I wanted to. Like, corresponding to reality is not what religions are about. What are religions about then? About constructing your own reality. About believing. Reality is subjective anyway, right? And when you honestly believe in something, that's a pretty strong thing, man. I think it's indistinguishable from knowing something. It influences how you think, feel, act, how you interpret the world around you. So in a way, it becomes much more real to you than the actual reality. So what if the universe wasn't created like you believe it was? It doesn't have to change your life. Ooh. Let's see. But you want it to change our lives. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having these conversations. I guess I do, but only in a positive way. To show you the things that could be. To make you marvel at infinite possibilities, you know? I don't want people to have a crisis of faith or something. But that's not the same thing. You present your tale as facts, not just an interpretation. But facts per se are not that important. What's important is how much you let them influence your life, and that's your own choice. The truest fact in the universe may be totally inconsequential if humanity decides to ignore it. The power is still completely in your hands. You still disconnect others' beliefs from reality. That counts as devaluing. I think it's the opposite, to be honest. When a worldview contradicts the physical world but remains relevant, that means it's not dependent on it. That kind of makes it transcend the physical world. It's important, hence it's real. It's not the other way around. Still, don't you think your tale may cause more harm and confusion than good? Well, it's not like people are forced to choose one view and then accept it to the letter. Today, constructing one's worldview is a complex process. You take a bit from here, a bit from there, and a bit from someplace else. So if I can expand the pools a bit, then that must be a good thing, right? The pool of bits. I'm on a roll today. Interesting. Well, we've got some more questions, so we can go ahead and ask this guy. Talking about pain, suffering, death. Are we alone in the universe? What the meaning of life is? We got some big questions here. I'll tell you what, we will go ahead and ask them at the beginning of the next episode, guys. This is probably the most intriguing part of the game so far for me. I'm curious to see where it's going to go. But if you guys like the episode, please leave a like down below. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, that'd be a big help. And we'll see you next time. Later days, everyone.